On today's Locked On Thunder podcast, the Oklahoma City Thunder have an absolutely elite young core brewing in OKC as SGA returns and the Thunder get two massive wins over the Utah Jazz, all coming up on today's Locked On Thunder podcast.
You are Locked On Thunder, your daily Oklahoma City Thunder podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Let's get it going on the Locked On Thunder podcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am your host, Rylan Stiles. You can follow me on Twitter at Rylan_Stiles. Follow the show on Twitter at LOThunderPod. Email the show, LOThunderPod@gmail.com. On today's show, brought to you by PrizePicks, we're diving into the Oklahoma City Thunder getting a massive sweep in the baseball series style of play against the Utah Jazz. The core three each showed elite traits in this one. And the Thunder are back in that play-in conversation as SGA returns, but has a new role. Plus, there's a few interesting DNP-CDs in this game as well. But make sure you check out PrizePicks. First-time users can receive 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with a code LOCKEDON. That's PrizePicks.com. Promo code LOCKEDON. Thank you so much for making us your first listen every single morning, every single day. We're here for you talking Thunder basketball. Subscribe for free across all podcasting platforms so you never miss an episode. And we start, the way we always do, with our game overview. For this one, SGA returns to the Thunder after clearing the league's health and safety protocols. Chet Holmgren out, Pokusevski out, Jalen Williams are all out. But Jeremiah Robinson-Earl and Tre Mann did not play. Olivier Sarr played over Jeremiah Robinson-Earl. I think that's pretty telling. We'll talk about that more tomorrow on Stockwatch, but interesting note there on the DNP-CD. Jared Butler, also on the two-way deal, did not play in this one. The Thunder start out with SGA, Josh Giddey, Lou Dort, J-Dub, and J-Will, but that trio of SGA, Josh Giddey, and J-Dub showed a lot of elite qualities moving forward, and we have not seen this team with Chet Holmgren yet, which is just insane. So before the game on SGA, as he returns, Mark talked about how things would change rotationally for Shai. He said, quote, "The missed time with health and safety protocols, we were prepared to manage him with the abdominal strain. The abdominal is a tricky area. It's a situation where if it happens earlier in the season, the solve for it is to rest. So if this was October, we'd be resting him to get him completely healed. But it's not October, and we have X amount of games left. So we're going to do this to manage him, and it will be a little bit tricky, and it's going to require us to modify some things. So we are going to have to look at back-to-backs, and we're going to have to look at his rotation. So we're going to see a little bit of a different approach on our end from him tonight. Starting tonight, rotationally, he typically plays long stretches of minutes in the first and the third quarter. That'll change tonight, and will probably change moving forward. Then we just want to see how he responds, and then we also have to look at, of course, with a condensed schedule, at the opportunities to do injury management when necessary. That's the best we can do right now with the circumstances, but we're happy to have him back, end quote. That's what Mark said about SGA. So a lot of things were interesting there. The first thing, the rotational minutes was going to change. Shai has played the entire first quarter, came back, in the latter half of the second to close out the half, the entire third quarter, and then comes back in the fourth quarter around the 7-minute mark, 5-minute mark area. And so, having known that, if you just look at the box score and see 37 minutes played, which is over his 35.5 minutes per game season average, you would wonder yourself what changed. Well, he left the first quarter with 2 minutes to go in the frame, usually plays the entire quarter. And then in the third quarter, he left again, this time with only 54 seconds left. However, as he usually plays the third quarter. However, I think that had he not been the free throw shooter at the 2-minute mark in the third quarter, he would have been subbed out. That's just a guess, but I think that's what would have happened just as it did in the first quarter. It's just that he was the free throw shooter at the 2-minute mark, and so they couldn't get him out at that foul. And then there was no other dead ball until 54 seconds, and then he was relieved from the game. But he came back earlier than his normal rotational spot, came back with a little over 8 minutes to go in the game, which was a bit surprising. But nonetheless, the way that the thing that changed was he was no longer playing those long spurts, and it's managing him in that way. Mark explained it after the game as that of like, it wasn't necessarily about the amount of minutes, it's about when those minutes happen and when those minutes occur and for how long of a stretch do those minutes occur. That's more so what they're managing, it appears. And then also from this quote, you can talk about back-to-backs. The Thunder have a couple coming still in this schedule, most notably this week against the Warriors on Tuesday at home, then going to Phoenix to play the Suns. I think that from this quote, you would look at and say, in all likelihood, SGA will not play in back-to-backs the rest of this season. You can also look at this quote and say, look, the Thunder had an opportunity here to shut him down. Like Mark just told you, the only way to get Shai fully healthy is to rest him. The Thunder aren't resting him. The second he cleared health and safety protocols, he was back. And if you remember the reporting around Shai's injury earlier this week, you get the sense that he would have played had he not gone into health and safety protocols on that second night of the back-to-back that held him out Wednesday night. And so obviously the Thunder are prepared to play him. And some of that is them not tanking the way that the national media would expect them to, or is kind of forcing upon them in the narrative realm. And some of that too is also SGA has a chance to be an All-NBA player and should be an All-NBA player. And this stretch of the season can solidify that and also give them a chance to make the play-in. But that's what's changed with him rotationally. And what's changed with him on the court-wise is absolutely nothing. He doesn't play the full force quarter, but still gets double-digit points. The way that Shai's amassed this 30-point per game average has been double digits in the first quarter because you're playing all 12 minutes, double digits in the third quarter because you're playing all 12 minutes. Did not play the last 2 minutes of the first, only played 10 minutes, but still, in those 10 minutes in the first, had 13 points, 3 rebounds, and a block. He starts the game with that follow-away baseline jumper. He is able to have that beautiful pump fake step-through move. And in this game, he also showed you his strength of like that fast break where THT just absolutely hammered him with a shoulder check. And it didn't matter. He just finished through the contest and finished strong and got the N1. He's shown you that a little bit too against Jabari Smith and other guys where he just bumps them off their spot. But this time he was the one taking the contact and not initiating it. And he still finished well. Perhaps the play of the game was him diving on a loose ball. And he dives on a loose ball, flips it ahead to Isaiah Joe at the Paycom Center logo. Isaiah Joe, it's a 3, and that cuts the Jazz run at the knees. And the Thunder, at that point, have their stopper back. This is what I've been explaining to you over the road trip of not the road trip, but of the losing streak. When the Thunder were amassing these losses, the problem that they occurred was not necessarily that they were tanking or that they weren't good enough as a whole. They just didn't have that element that Shai brings of, hey, when you're up by 20 points and then the Jazz go on a run and it's down to a 10-point lead, there was no one there to stop the bleeding, which is what All-Stars do, which is what All-NBA players do. There was no one there to be a stopper of all the bad things that happen. And you're relying on second-year guys and rookies to make the opposing team's runs stop. That's how the Thunder lost to the Lakers. When you look around and say, well, how do they lose to the Lakers without LeBron, without AD, without D'Angelo Russell? It was because the Lakers were on like 6 15-3 runs. And guys like SGA do not let that happen. When the rest of your team is backsliding a bit, they do something like this. And it's usually getting a bucket, but they do something like this where they dive on the floor and toss the ball over to Isaiah Joe. He hits a Paycom Center 3, and the crowd goes wild, and the team is just now back on track. There was nobody to steer and grab the steering wheel whenever things got rocky there and get them back on the road these last few games where they were losing. And now with SGA back, he brought that immediately. Like this game, the Jazz never led. And the Thunder once led by 24 points, but this was still at times a 12-point game, at times a 10-point game. But the Thunder kept applying pressure after the Jazz got on the run. They allowed themselves to throw the counterpunch that it's hard to have when your roster is made up of rookies and second-year guys, to where anyone having an off night puts you at a huge disadvantage, as it happened against the Lakers. Shai also changed the energy defensively. He scored 38 points. That is phenomenal. But defensively, it was different. Like, people have been talking about how the defense has lapsed and how frustrating it was to get all these open three-pointers in the last 5 games. But Shai changed all that with his intensity. That rose everyone else's intensity as well. And Shai also continues to make an impact. He's a very good defender. 3 steals and a block in this one, 58% from the floor, kept that efficiency up. 1 for 2 from 3, 17 for 19 at the free throw line, 37 minutes, 38 points, and 7 rebounds for SGA. He's back. We'll see if he plays in the back, for both games of the back-to-back, and if he does not play in both games of the back-to-back, which I would guess, again, stressing, I would guess he's not going to play in the back-to-backs in the sense of both games. Which game do they choose? Will it be the home game against the Warriors, or will it be the road game against the Suns? Each has both their pros and cons to playing him or not playing him, but I would imagine that they're going to start to manage him by not playing him the full strength of the 12 minutes, because he still amassed 37 minutes in this game, but ending those spurts for however that helps manage your body, and then not playing the back-to-backs or not playing all of them. This could be a case where he plays both of the back-to-backs this time, but next time he only plays one of the Charlotte-Detroit home back-to-back. Who knows what it could be? We'll have to wait and see, but there are other ways to manage this for OKC, and they got a massive couple of wins against Utah, and this is why that backslide, you never want it to happen. You never want to lose 5 straight games, but with how tight the standings are, and with the fact that even after those 5 losses, you still had a couple of games with the Jazz coming up. You still have a game against the Warriors coming up. You still have a game left in LA. You still have all of these things to where it's all in front of you still. Either direction is still house money for OKC, but in the meantime, you're watching this young core of Josh Giddey, of SGA, of J-Dub play at an elite level in this game without Chet Holmgren, who, by the way, is the highest pick in this entire rebuild. It is going to be awesome to watch this team continue to come into the fold. And we'll talk about how well Josh Giddey played and Jalen Williams played in this one against Utah. But first, I want to say right now, our good friends over at PrizePicks. PrizePicks is incredible. You can go on PrizePicks by going to PrizePicks.com or by downloading their app PrizePicks, and all you got to do is select more or less on amazing prop bets, such as Luka Doncic to score more or less than 26.5 points, LeBron James to have more or less than 7.5 rebounds, Kevin Durant more or less than 6.5 assists, Steph Curry and OKC more or less than 3.5 threes. I tell you this, Tuesday on the PrizePicks app, I'd really go look at Klay Thompson's points, and whatever they have it at, bet the more option, because Klay Thompson always dominates in OKC. It's that simple. You pick 2 to 6 players, and if they score more or less than your PrizePick projections, you can win 25 times your money on any entry. There's no competing against sharks and other players. It's just you versus the projected numbers. PrizePicks offers projections on everything you can want: NBA, NHL, NFL, MLB, PGA, college and pro football, college and pro basketball, women's basketball, WNBA, women's college basketball, soccer, NASCAR, tennis, MMA, boxing, all that good stuff. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's that easy, safe, and offers fast withdrawals, and it's currently operational in over 30 states in Canada. So download the app right now and go to the PrizePicks.com website. Enter the code LOCKEDON, 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with the code LOCKEDON. We're back on the Locked On Thunder podcast, on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you so much for making us your first listen. Every single morning, every single day, we're here for you, talking Thunder basketball. Subscribe for free across all podcasting platforms, including on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter at Rylan_Stiles, and let's dive into Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey was great in this game, and he was a closer. For all the talk about, Josh Giddey got benched in this game down the stretch. He only played 19 minutes in that game, last week. For all the talk of can he close games, can he be a part of winning teams, we lose sight of the fact that Josh Giddey is only in his second season. Josh Giddey is still an incredibly young player, and he's still, right now, 20 years old. He will not be able to legally drink until next season. Early October is his birthday. He won't be able to legally drink until then. So let's not put him in a box of he can never close a game. He gets benched down the stretch, and let's let him work through some things, because in this game, he had a moment like Shai. He had the ability to what was once a 10, 12-point lead, lift that back up quickly to 17 and really put the final nail in the coffin. He had a three-pointer, hit a couple of layups, and boom. The lead's up to 17, and that was the final run the Jazz went on, because after that, they stood no chance. And he was on fire today in all aspects. He had the spinning layup working. He had the step-back mid-range jumper that he has been trying out over the last 2 months, and this time it worked over Walker Kessler. In this game, he went 4 for 6 from 3, 66%. Now look, that's an outlier for Josh Giddey. He's not going to shoot 66% from 3 on 6 attempts in many nights even. But the fact that that is there shows you the upside from Josh Giddey as you progress his career further and further down the road. We're not even in the tip of the iceberg of Josh Giddey's career. Like, we're not even there yet. So he doesn't need to be a 4 for 6 3-point shooter. Let that number come down to whatever, 2 for 5, whatever. I don't know math. That might be the same percentage. Who knows? But let that number come down. Even you're still really, really happy with where he's at. You're still really, really happy with what he's doing. And in this game, you saw how dangerous it'll be if he can become, a 37% 3-point shooter, because he had his 3-point shot on, and what happened? Got the ball swung to him, pump faked, defender bit, blew right by him, went to the rack, scored at the rim. 24 points in this one for Josh Giddey. 24 points for Josh Giddey. He played with confidence. I mean, he had a massive high five with SGA, which really lit the building on fire. And on top of the 24 points and the threes, and in this game, shot 62% from the floor, only missed 6 shots all night in 32 minutes. He had 9 assists, 9 rebounds, and 2 steals. And made just a couple brilliant passes. The pass to Saric to create the fast break, no one saw that. No one saw that passing window. No one believed he would attempt that pass. And he got it through, threaded the needle, and it created 2 points for OKC. Now, not all assists are created equally. Some assists, you just simply get the ball swung to the top of the key, you swing it one more time to Isaiah Joe, he knocks down the 3. This play, these 2 points do not happen without Josh Giddey. No one on Media Row thought that he was going to make that pass, even thought it was an opportunity to make that pass. We were all just jaw-dropped when he made the pass to Saric for the layup. SGA was looking to receive the ball at the timeline. Like, he didn't think that there was anything going on. He thought that the Thunder did not have the numbers, and they didn't have the numbers, but Josh Giddey creates the numbers with that pass. And those things don't pop out to you whenever you win by 1 billion points against Utah and you go wire to wire in a game against Utah for the second straight game. But those things add up when it's time to win games by 2 possessions. Those things add up in the playoffs when games get into the mud, when games slow down, and you can't get out and run as much. But if you can create the window and create the ability to go out and run, then you're able to play your style of basketball regardless of the setting, regardless of the tempo, regardless of any of that. And another great pass, and this is more so not a pass that pops out your eyeballs, but it just shows his intelligence as a passer. SGA cuts to the rim, and Josh Giddey throws a pass high, and this was on purpose. It looks like a high pass or an errant pass. No, he threw the ball high on purpose, like a receiver in football. He threw the ball high on purpose so SGA could catch it high, navigate through the traffic, and finish at the rim. And immediately as the shot leaves his hand, SGA starts pointing down the court at Josh Giddey, in the sense of, a tip of the hat to him for the pass. If that pass is thrown any other place, it A, probably doesn't get through to SGA, but B, forces SGA to catch it, low or catch it mid and get raked across the arms, and you either get the foul call or you don't. That's up to the refs, but you certainly don't get the easy 2 out of it. Like, these things add up, and these things matter. And again, it's hard to see. It's hard. It sounds like you're overanalyzing it in a 24-point win, but sometimes you're going to win by 2, and these same things are going to happen. Sometimes it's going to come down to those things. And J-Dub was electric. Just an unreal game from Jalen Williams, who continues to get better and not hit a rookie wall. As we sit here on March 6th, we still have not found his ceiling. He was great in this game, playing 1 through 5. Literally, played center in this game. I asked him to make sure that we were not crazy. He played center. And he said that coach told him before the game, you might be playing center tonight. You might slide down there. And he did. He also played backup point guard. He was the one that also had to change the rotational pattern to prepare and to rest for whenever they took out Shai to where he could go back in and be the backup point guard for Shai. And he's, of course, played all around the wing. That's tough. All around the wing this season to where he's played 1 through 5. To have somebody who can do that is obscene. Now, obviously, he can't defend Jokic, Embiid, whatever. That doesn't matter. No one can defend them. But in any given night, whenever another team might try to go small against you, you can go 1 through 5. The Jazz are a pretty big team. They're a pretty big team. And J-Dub got 5 rebounds. And the thing is, he's also able to use his length in a smart way, but also he's able to just bring that ferocity, if you will. This is a guy that leads the Western Conference rookies in scoring. He doesn't have to do the dirty work if he doesn't want to. He was a lottery pick. But he goes out there, he fights for loose balls, he taps out rebounds, he goes up and mixes it up down low with Walker Kessler, who's an imposing figure down low. He's going to take the blows. He's going to get popped in the eye. He's going to do the work that nobody else wants to do while also having the heat check 3, while also having the electric drives to the rim, while also having all that other stuff. The spinning through the lane layup. The lob pass to Sarr, which was just wild. No, I did not expect the lob pass to Sarr in this game, but it worked. He checked 3 off the dribble. 4 for 5 from 3 for J-Dub. 80% from the floor. And I think that the play that encapsulates J-Dub as a player is he creates for himself this reverse layup that I'm not sure how he got down to the rim. I'm not sure how he got space to even get off the reverse layup. It somehow rims out, which I'm not sure how it rimmed out. But he followed it up by getting his own miss and then slamming it through traffic against one of the best shot blockers in the league. Throughout all of that, he showed you ball handling, he showed you finesse, he showed you an ability to try to finish at the rim creatively with this reverse, just using his lengthy arms to fling the ball up there. And then he showed you the grunt work of, I'm going to go get a rebound that gets one of the best rebounding and shot blocking bigs out there and dunk it. That's a play that is immediately appreciable by the team, by the fans, and that's a play that swings momentum. That's a play that carries you for a play, 2 plays, 3 plays. Imagine a packed house in the Paycom Center wherever that happens. They're buzzing for the next 3 plays. And you stack upon 3 good plays because of this one play, and again, in close games, that is the difference. Those are stretches that swallow up other teams. 4 for 5 from 3, 80% from the floor, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, only 1 turnover, which is obscene. J-Dub's been a very efficient player the entire season. But the fact that he goes from the mindset of, I'm a wing, I'm a power forward, I'm a backup point guard, I'm a center, I'm a backup point guard, all throughout the same game, cycles through these different roles, and only has 1 turnover, shows basketball brilliance. That's what it shows. That's incredibly tough to do. 32 points, a career high, first ever 30-piece for J-Dub in the NBA. And I'm not sure how he keeps getting better. And again, I don't mean that in the granular sense, but like within this season, he's still getting better. We have not even seen the best of his rookie season. We're in March because he keeps getting better. And that's a positive way. He's been getting better and better and better. And every time you think, okay, this is who rookie J-Dub is. No, he does something else. He adds something else. And I'm excited for this future core. And this future core looks so elite and so great. And again, they don't have their highest draft pick yet. The Thunder are on the verge of being one of these great teams. And on the verge of being the next NBA darling. Remember how it started for Memphis? Memphis, fun little story. Oh, they're playing so well. Oh, they're playing against Portland. Look how funny that is. Whoa, they won the play-in tournament. They go to Utah. Yeah, they got beat by 5 or 6, but that was a spunky little dunk by John Morant driving baseline. These Grizzlies can be something. Then boom, hit you in the face the next season. Then boom, now they have the second best record in the Western Conference. Like that stuff, that's how this is going to happen for OKC. That's how this is going to go. You're going to have to take these steps, and this year could be a step. And they are the next in line to do that. They're the next in line to take that jump. Because you should go check out, if you're watching this on YouTube, as you should be, subscribe on Locked On Thunder Podcast YouTube. It's awesome. You should also hop over to Chet Holmgren's YouTube channel and watch some of those clips he posted of him and KD trading buckets over the summer. That's what you're adding to this core. Not to mention the pile of draft picks you have. Not to mention the salary cap space you have this summer if you want to use it. Not to mention this draft class being so good in 2023. And your draft pick, no matter where it lands, is going to be good, or you can make it good by trading up. This is an elite core that is poised to do something special. Coming up, we'll talk about Dario Saric. We'll talk about Ousmane Dieng, who played really well as well. Jay Will, Isaiah Joe, and how the Thunder won this game. But first, I want to tell you right now, my good friends over at Built Bar. Built Bar is a fantastic protein bar, folks. It tastes like a candy bar. Go to BuiltBar.com. Use the promo code LOCK15. Get 15% off if you want next order. And you can find them at Walmart. You can find them at Sam's Club. So if you're a member of the club with Sam, check it out in their pharmacy section today. It's a Built Bar that's a protein bar, which tastes like a candy bar. Great pre-workout, post-workout, or even as a meal replacement or a snack. 100% real chocolate on the outside, 130 calories, 16 grams of protein, folks, in these Built Bars. My personal favorite flavor is cookies and cream. However, they have so many great flavors coming out. Like, so many. Vanilla cream is out now. You can try all these other ones. Double chocolate, coconut marshmallow, salted caramel, churro. You can try banana cream pie. You can try lemon dip cheesecake. Folks, these things are in high demand. These things, I get asked all the time by the Thunder Beat to bring Built Bars to the arena. And I oblige. Because I'm a company man. But it's because they're so good. Check it out today. Built.com. Promo code LOCK15. We're back on the Locked On Thunder Podcast, on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you so much for making us your first listen every single day. We're here for you, talking Thunder basketball. Subscribe for free across all podcasting platforms, and check out Locked On Game to Game. Locked On Game to Game has every moment of every performance and every result and every story of the night before in the association. Check it out on the Locked On Game to Game NBA feed. Dario Saric looked awesome. And this is another topic that we're going to go more widespread tree trunk branching out tomorrow. But for today, he continues to look like a great fit in OKC. 11 points on Friday, 8 points today, timely buckets. And he's doing exactly what we thought he would. Replacing that, Mike Muscala production, replacing that in minutes and in just quality of play on the court. And you trade out two guys who bring you the same thing on the court and got second-round picks in addition to that, which is awesome. But I think that the more interesting topic here at Saric is not how he's playing right now, but how he's fitting and how he is talking about the Thunder and talking about their future, and the fact that the balancing act that Sam Presti and this organization is going to have to do, and the tough decision this team will have to make. Because Dario Saric, the way that he's playing right now, full send, full stop, the way that Saric is playing right now, he is a part of the best version of the Thunder next year. The best version of the Thunder next year would include Saric over some of these other young guys. However, it's not about just next year. It's about 3, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years from now. How do you balance maximizing next year's roster versus continuing to be forward-thinking about these young guys? Because however out you might be right now on Trey Mann or Jeremiah Robinson-Earl or name your guy, sophomore slumps happen. And then guys get really, 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 really good. So, where do the Thunder go here? Because I do believe that Saric makes this team better next year versus what you project someone else to do that's on one of those rookie deals. But do you feel the same way in 5 years? That's a tough balancing act that Sarge is making this more difficult than we first thought. day of the trade, you think, well, Saric is going to expire just like Mike Muscala is going to expire. And now you get an open roster spot, and you don't have to make the tough decision of like officially declining the option on a fan favorite. You trade him, got a second round pick for him, and then you go forward with your open roster spot, which you need for the roster crunch. But now it's a little bit more complicated than that. If I had to bet money right now, what it would be, I still think that they just let the roster spot expire. But it's a much more difficult conversation worth having now than I ever thought it would be. Ousmane Dieng deserves a ton of credit. Way more aggressive in this game, had the catch and shoot three, mixed it up down low with the putback for Shai missing. He tried the putback, got fouled, and went to the line. Had another moment where Wiggins finds Ousmane Dieng on the cut. He waits for the defense, is patient, gets the up fake, and then finish at the rim. 19 minutes, 12 points, 2 steals, 4 rebounds, 2 for 3 from 3, and 4 for 6 from the floor. Dieng played really, really well. J. Will also had an impact in this game, early on especially. 2 quick boards, sealed off Walker Kessler. Jalen Williams from Santa Clara got the board, and so he impacted the board for like run-a-tat-tat 3 straight possessions. And then from there, a quiet game from him, but still worth noting. Isaiah Joe had that step-back 3 on his way to 6 points and 3 rebounds. And the Thunder went wire-to-wire in both wins over Utah. They played with an elite energy, and to further show how the Thunder want to just try to maximize each and every game, they had the Jazz cornered up by 24 points. The Jazz, anytime that they strung together, the Jazz did, anytime that the Jazz strung together back-to-back buckets, Mark would call a timeout. Like, just don't like it, timeout, gotta get this thing back on track, even though the Thunder are still up 17 or 16 or 14, or whatever it is. OKC drew 3 offensive fouls. The Thunder once had a 24-point lead. It was never tied. Utah never led. OKC won the boards 42-39. Utah turned it over 16 times to OKC's 12. OKC shot 50, 39, and 81, and Utah shot 49, 29, and 81. OKC was a minus 10 in points in the paint. They tied 17 at the second chance points for both teams. And here's the kicker. I've talked about how important fast break points are because this team wants to get out and run. The Thunder dominate fast break points 30-11. OKC wins 129-119. MVP of the game. You're going to have to let me know in the comments. Who's the MVP? It's going to be between SGA, Giddey, and J-Dub. I'm going to give it to Josh Giddey officially because we've given it to J-Dub a lot, obviously. Given it to Shai a lot, obviously. Josh Giddey deserves a lot of shine in this one, and I do think that he closed out this game. Like, he was the one to put the nail in the coffin in this game, which really helped the whole team, obviously. I'll say Josh Giddey is, but it's a tough call, and really it should be all 3 of them. Tuesday, Stock Watch, talking about the entire roster. Is their stock up, down, or middling? Wednesday, Warriors recap. Thursday, let's talk some NBA draft with our good friend Mavs Draft. Sunday, a Suns recap and standings watch. Friday, a Suns recap and standing watch. Sunday, Pelicans recap. Monday, Spurs recap. So a lot to look forward to during this week. Until tomorrow, be good and be good to one another.